Can you kind of start from the beginning? I'm like, this
Hold on
story
first
really
for a
familiar.
second. Can you just tell me who you are, who you're with?
I'm Ricardo Lewis with WSAV.
Okay. That's Savannah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
We've saw things on social media regarding a council member in this town of Bluffton after you were in Washington, D.C. for Trump's rally. I guess kind of walk me through what's been going
hold
on.
on. But before we get into all that, what is your purposes of contacting me, and what will this interaction be used for?
This is a story for the news.
So this recording is going to be used on the news.
Yeah, that's what this.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we disclose all, everything before we get into it.
Okay.
So, all right. So, what do you want to know?
There's just like back and forth accusations going on social media between your name was thrown in there with the council member. I
Hmm.
guess I guess walk me through. You were at the Trump rally the other day when the attack on the Capitol happened. So what's going on since you've gotten back?
Well, I was at the Trump rally last Wednesday, January 6th. We did walk over to the Capitol building after the Trump rally. By the time we had gotten there, people had already broken into the Capitol building, and that actually, from my knowledge, being there, that started before the rally was even over. So I found that interesting. So we walked over there to the Capitol building. We stood outside on the ground. I never went up the first step of the Capitol building, and it was actually just a bunch of people. And when I say a bunch, there had to be a million people there. It was unbelievable. There was a bunch of people standing outside, supporting a sitting president, and praying and cheering. And for the most part, for everything that I saw, it was peaceful and happy. But there was a small handful of people out of the million or so, probably maybe 1.5 million, that did break into the Capitol. And from the perspective of someone that was there and on the ground, um, none of us were like, we're not going in there. That's stupid. So we were opposed to breaking into the Capitol from the beginning. There's a lot of rumors about who it actually was. I have some ideas. I think it was a number of different types of people broke in there. However, from my from what I did was I went to the Capitol to support the president and never stepped up the first step of the Capitol building. I stayed on the ground the whole time, just like a million other people. Since I posted a picture of me being there on the ground, and by the time I got home, I was receiving a ridiculous amount of hate on social media, threats, um, people calling for me to get fired from places that I play. I'm a musician by trade. Um, One of those people that were calling for me to be fired was Bluffton Town Council member Bridget Frazier, and I was sent a screenshot of her saying that on social media. Her After she said that, I did end up getting fired from the place that she suggested everyone call and harass. Um, it's pretty sad. It is a black-owned business and one of my favorite places to play, and they're even attacking black-owned businesses, and he's suffering a loss right now too. So I feel for him as well. It's unfortunate that a Beaufort, I mean a Bluffton town, an elected official of the town of Bluffton would go after somebody's livelihood based on their political viewpoint. I don't think that kind of behavior is becoming of an elected official, but I guess that's the days that we live in. Um, so
Was I just want to ask, was the place that you were let go Ruby Lee's? That's
yes,
the place. Okay.
yes.
So why do you
Um,
think well, I'll let you continue and I'll ask questions.
Okay, so because I think you asked me, what was my experience after I left the rally in, social media interaction. Um, I've been harassed on all social media platforms that I'm on: Twitter, um, Facebook, Instagram, and Parler got shut down, so I'm not receiving anything on there. But I'm receiving all kinds of nasty messages. They're even harassing me on Venmo, if you can believe that. I have screenshots of people requesting money from me and just saying the most nasty things towards me. And all I did was go to a Trump rally and support a sitting president. The people are accusing me of being one of the ones that stormed the Capitol building. That's not true. I never went up the first step. There were video cameras everywhere. If I had been in there, I would have been caught on video without a doubt. I mean, you would know. And plus, I have a habit of recording everything. Like I told you, I was going to record this. I just record everything because these days, if you think about recording it after it's done, it's too late. Um, so I've been accused of breaking into the Capitol building. People have even gone so far as to report me to the FBI for being a terrorist. They're harassing me on all forms of social media. And Bridget Frazier, Bluffton Town Council member, was also involved in a comment thread and where somebody was offering to knock me out for $50, and she responded that her money's on them. And she even got her brother involved in the conversation, who is a Bluffton Police Department. And it was really sad to me because I love her brother. We've been friends for over 30 years, and it was you know it disappointing. I he When he proposed to his wife, he sang while my band played backup for him. I got him on stage so he could sing and propose to his wife, and she made the right decision and said yes. Um, and I sang at his wedding, and it's just sad what's going on in this country. I didn't break into the Capitol, but I'm being accused of being a terrorist and being reported to the FBI, and I'm having my livelihood taken away from me. And it's just disheartening that this is the type of world that we live in right now.
Hmm. So when you, so I think you made a post on Facebook that I have right here, and it said you're actually a part of the people that you wouldn't have rushed or attacked the Capitol and did what everybody else did, and you're actually a part of the group that wants to have these people identified by the FBI.
I do think that whoever was dumb enough to break the windows and break into the Capitol building. Now, to be fair, there were windows broken and there were doors broken into, but other doors, I've seen other videos where people were just let in. So there's a lot going on in that situation. I hope that the authorities can get to the bottom of it. However, anyone who broke in, stormed the Capitol building, rioted, participated in that ridiculousness, I feel that they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
So back home now, what do you, after seeing this councilwoman say all of these things about you, what are you hoping? Were there calls for her to be resigned?
Yes,
For yeah.
I as soon as she successfully attacked my livelihood, um, I immediately publicly on Facebook called for her resignation because I don't believe that an elected official should use their position to attack someone's livelihood solely based on their differing political viewpoint. So I, along with many other concerned members of the community, have publicly called for her resignation. One very nice lady even started a petition to to get her removed from office and call. I'm not quite sure exactly what the petition said. I didn't read it. Um, but there's a lot of people very, very upset about this. Attacking someone's livelihood and inciting violence is not something that's becoming of an elected official. Elected officials are held to a higher standard, and we can expect this from certain citizens, but we should not expect this from someone who is elected to a local public office and is supposed to be bipartisan.
Mhm. So anything else aside from calling her to be off of the council, or what, can I ask you, what was it like that day? Did you record what was going on while you were at the Capitol as well?
I made a few videos. Honestly, I was taking it all in. It was really, really cold. I could not feel my feet. Um, I'll try to sum it up. It was a long day. We left the hotel about 5 o'clock. We got there about 6. We rode the train in because you couldn't get parking anywhere. They were shutting down parking garages. They closed down all the restaurants so nobody could get anything to eat. The hotels in Washington, D.C. even closed down their restaurants so the people that were staying there couldn't buy anything to eat. And they were charging people. You could get a bottle of water at the restaurants, but at the hotels, but they were $20. It was just amazing what was going on. Aside from that, so we got there about a little after 6 in the morning, something like that. And it was freezing. I was smart enough to bring chairs so we could sit in. But I couldn't feel my feet by the end of the day. I can't remember ever being that cold. And I don't know if you've been to where the Washington Monument is in that whole area, but it's enormous. I mean, acres and acres and acres and acres, and it was shoulder to shoulder. There had to be well over 1 million people there. There's just no way there wasn't. It's people as far as you could see in both directions, shoulder to shoulder. For all those people, they were nice enough to give us 15 porta potties, so that was a very interesting situation. People had to wait over 3 hours just to use the restroom, and it was not an easy task. So for the most part, there were this was my third Trump rally going to, and my experience at every Trump rally was pretty similar. This one was a little different. The one thing they all had in common was almost everyone was really happy, really good-spirited, loving, accepting, kind. There were people there of all races. It's a really an amazing experience. Everybody getting together and supporting their president, and that's what I saw for the most part. But I did notice some people in the crowd that didn't seem right. They weren't dressed like Trump supporters typically dress. Their demeanor was different. They did, and I walked by a couple of them, and I just did not get a good feeling about them. I don't know if you've ever met someone or walked by somebody and they just gave you a bad feeling, but there were some of those there. And as a matter of fact, when we walked over to the Capitol building, one of those kinds of people that I'm talking about walked by me, and he looked at me with this really eerie, nasty face, and he was wearing a Trump t-shirt, and he's like, "Oh, we're getting in, this is our house." And I was like, and it didn't sit right with me, because nobody else was talking like that. That was the only guy that I heard talking like that. But for the most part, it was a very happy, uplifting, good experience. Other than the cold, everyone was behaving well and loving each other, just as you would expect an event in the United States of America to be.
I guess this is really aside from the point, but when you were listening to the president and you started seeing all those people walk back towards the Capitol, do you think the president incited that insurrection that day?
That's a good question. When we walked over to the Capitol, nobody was even thinking about breaking into the Capitol. And I've talked to a lot of people since then, and heard a lot of people talk since then about this. And we were all amazed that people were breaking in. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me correctly, the president did encourage us to walk over to the Capitol, but he specifically said, "Go in peace." And he even made a video later on that day telling people to stop the violence. And that video was taken down by Twitter and Facebook, unfortunately. but the president specifically told us to go over there peacefully, and even later on denounced the violence and told them to stop. So in my opinion, my honest opinion, the president didn't do anything to encourage people to break into the Capitol. It wasn't even a thought in our minds until we got down there and found out that people were doing it, and we were all shocked by it.
Do you think those people were Trump supporters, or do you think they were the people that you were getting a bad feeling from?
I think that the people that broke the windows and initially broke in, because I have seen video, and I have video. My friends have video of Trump supporters trying to stop them from breaking the windows, and saying stop, 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 and accusing them of being Antifa. And this is all on video. Excuse me. So I think that the people that initially caused the damage, that opened up the doors and the windows to the Capitol building, I suspect that they were Antifa. But I do think that there were some stupid Trump supporters that took the bait and followed them in there. So I think it was a mix of both, to be honest with you.
Hmm. So we got this statement from the mayor after she saw everything that was going on Facebook involving the councilwoman. Did you see that, or did you pay?
Are you talking about Mayor Lisa Solka?
Yes.
Okay. To be quite honest with you, I've read so much and seen so many videos. I've had to respond to thousands of messages in the last few days, and my memory is not good enough to capture all that information. So maybe you can refresh me.
Yeah, she was just saying that. Now I have to pull it back up. She's asking all residents and fellow town council members and staff members to remember each of them have to be mindful and work together to be a solution maker, not further divide us at this delicate time in America's and our community's history. As mayor, my personal and professional mission is to seek opportunities to unite this community every day. I am in office and every day I'm a resident of Bluffton. She also said that the people elected this councilwoman and she represents everybody as a whole. I have yet to hear from her. They were supposed to talk about this at their council meeting tonight. I'm not sure if that's over yet, but that's just kind of what she was saying.
Right. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't watch the meeting tonight. My Meemaw invited me over to dinner, so I don't say no to Meemaw. But I did get some messages about it. They said that they were sticking up for Bridget Frazier and covering for her. I haven't seen the video yet myself. It's kind of what I unfortunately expected out of Mayor Lisa Salka. But she was elected to represent the constituents of this town of Bluffton, South Carolina. And honestly, I think that attacking her constituents and successfully participating in destroying their livelihood and inciting violence on social media against her constituents, that's a pretty terrible way to represent your constituents. And honestly, it's behavior that is unbecoming of an elected official, and she should resign.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that you want to add? Do you think this is coming? Do you think people are like thinking, oh, he's saying he didn't go into the Capitol, but we bet he went into the Capitol, so he needs to be ID'd as one of these people causing all these problems? Or do you think it's just because you're a Trump supporter and they just don't align with that, so they'd rather see something bad happen to a Trump supporter?
I don't think you can lump all of the people on that side into one category, and I think that's a problem that we have started doing, and it happens on both sides, both conservatives and liberals or Democrats, whatever you want to call them. They tend to lump the other side all into one category, and I see both sides doing that, and it's really unfortunate. Not everybody's the same. I have had to call out many a Trump supporter on their behavior as well. When I was organizing mass protests, I had one guy that was yelling at a car with young women in there. They might have been teenagers, and I got in between them and him, and I use some expletive words. I couldn't help it. I'm a defender. I defend people when they're being done wrong. So there's wrong on both sides. You can't lump them all in one category. So to answer your question, some people are accusing me of sedition and insurrection and breaking into the Capitol. They have absolutely zero evidence to support that claim. I really think it's just I really think they're just those people are acting out of emotion. They're angry because I'm voicing my opinion, and because they don't have a good logical argument, they make ridiculous accusations with absolutely zero evidence. Other people are saying, well, since I was there, I'm just as much a participant in the riots as the other people. And I think that's a logically fallacious argument as well. That's an example of the left lumping all of us into one category, and that's really unfair and irresponsible and just intellectually dishonest. So they're saying I'm guilty by association. It's not true. I was against rioting. I've been against rioting since day one when it was happening across the city. After George Floyd and Jacob Blake, I was against rioting then. I was against rioting on January 6th at the Capitol when I heard it was happening. I publicly denounced rioting over and over again on social media, both on Twitter and Facebook. Excuse me. So that's that's the two basic categories. Some people think that I broke in. Some people are just accusing me of being part of the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. If there's nothing else, is there any way, can you send me any pictures you have of that day, any videos you probably took to help tell this story? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted you. I think a lot of people wish that they could press the mute button on me right now. So you got a special treat.
Yeah.
Let me see what I have. I didn't take a whole lot of video that day. I took some pictures. I really, honestly, was spending the most of the day just taking it all in. It was a very surreal experience, and I didn't quite know what to make of it all. I have a few short clips of the crowd. And a few pictures. But like I said, from my perspective, there wasn't really a whole lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll see. But I'll see what I can send you. I have your email, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll shoot to you what I have.
Okay. Well, this story, I have no idea when this story is going to run. Maybe tomorrow, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to try to contact the councilwoman and see what came out of the city council meeting tonight when they talked about it, so I can get both sides of everything. And then I can email you or message you on Facebook and let you know when it runs.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.